balance sheet that comes out weekly. I don't think any surprises are really coming from that front. So the earnings also kind of a big factor. I know that Kroger, one of the big grocery store names, they will be reporting earnings tomorrow morning around the same time. So tomorrow morning is going to be a busy morning. And a lot of it, of course, builds up into what happens later in this week with consumer sentiment. And then, of course, into next week with the FOMC. So there's a lot of moving parts that we get to adjust for in regards to the market. The Apple event that occurred uh, earlier this week, Apple had run up. They're actually coming back down a little bit now. Might be that whole buy the rumor, sell the news type situation. Uh, Usually, Apple does pretty well during those events, and they did do pretty well during that event. They've come back down a little bit, but on the other side of the coin, both Nvidia and AMD have moved back up and are trying to hang on to their gains that they made over the past few weeks. I know that there's some stocks that Tom is real high on. Some of you have heard him talking about the gold market. Gold market is still humming along great. GLD, where is GLD right now? Keeps getting taken off of my main screen. GLD, I got to remember to save this workspace. 335 for GLD. So metals doing well. Let's not forget silver, 41,685. It's where I've got them traded last. Uh, Kind of big seeing those over 40. Crude oil, 63.75. The 30-year bond. How many of you have heard Tom talking about the bonds this week? And the week before, and the one before that, and so forth. 117.13 on the 30-year bond. I can remember when that was in the 114s, which wasn't that long ago. So bond prices going up, gold prices going up, silver prices going up. AI stocks are recovering, and the S&P futures made an all-time high earlier today. So things look rather bullish. The interesting part there is that typically you see gold and metals as a whole as a bit of a hedge. So it's interesting seeing those climb at the same time as the broader market is climbing. And I think that does probably say something about the expectations from the Federal Reserve. See how that all plays out. But it is getting about time. We've got about a minute to go before we start this presentation, this midweek market update. So glad all of you guys could make it in. We'll do a little around the horn real quick. Let me know where you guys are logging in from. I can already see Sacramento in the house, Galveston in the house. We had a few from the Birmingham area, Sam from Hoover. Uh, Jennifer made a few points about Mountain Brook, so I'm guessing you're from around the area, Jennifer. What else have we? Where else we got? Houston's in the house. Uh, Cleveland or no, Charlotte, Phoenix, Minneapolis, Hendersonville, Texas. We got a Connecticut Yankee in the house. How you doing, Neil? Maryland, Pittsburgh, coming in from all over the East Coast. I expect the West Coast to be joining us pretty soon. There we go, Redding, California. Good to see you, Cheryl. So yeah, so we've got everything covered. The Midwest checking in, or is that Nebraska would be more Great Plains than Midwest? Cleveland, Virginia. Man, we got everybody here tonight. So it is great to see everybody. I know you are all looking forward to hearing from Tom Busby. He'll be joining us in just a few moments. I want to go ahead and remind you that if you want to follow us on YouTube, go to dtitrader.com/YouTube. We are currently being simulcast there, so big shout out to our YouTube audience. Great for you. I'm glad you guys were able to join us tonight. Hope you're able to join us in our future presentations as well. For those of you looking to follow some of the more in-depth points, make sure to join us dtitrader.com/telegram. And if you're on that Telegram channel, Tom is constantly giving us updates there. Adam has posted the slides up for those of you in the Zoom room. You can go ahead and click that link and see what's in front of you. I see that many people already have. The numbers are just trickling in. And we are going to get tonight's session started very soon. Call your attention, guys, to the Roadmap software. For those of you not using Roadmap software, you're going to see a bit of it in tonight's presentation. And I just want to encourage you, it is absolutely a phenomenal piece of equipment. Can't trade without it. I have problems following the market without it. Roadmap certainly keeps you on the edge of your seat, giving you all the highlight information. Your typical charts are compass charts. I love our compass charts. You'll see an example of that. Um, and I think that Tom's going to talk a little bit about Apple. When he brings up that chart, I want you to notice the information that is on the left side panel. It'll come up in a few minutes here during the presentation. On that left side panel is just about everything you would need to know about a stock. What's the high? What's the low? What's the open of the week? The open of the month? The open of the year? Uh, Based on the algorithms that DTI has put together, what is the reasonable area to look for a buy? What sort of target are you looking for a sell and for a target? Where were we at this time yesterday? Um, Looking at all those different pieces of information, and that's just on the little panel of information beside the chart where you get to see how everything flows. It is an incredible piece of software. Can't wait for you guys to see that tonight. And what else have we got? We got the seven sisters, the seven most important
Hey,
markets
good
to pay
evening,
attention
folks.
to.
And what's so nice is that we had a real good day today with the market doing what it did, but it opened very very gingerly at new highs, and then spent the rest of the day correcting, only to come back towards the end of the day. A typical rally that got overdone, followed by them buying the dips, and so I expect that tomorrow, with news coming out on CPI, if we get past that, then you're going to see some new highs, and maybe some what I would say is a real chance, I believe, to put some feathers in your hat. That's what we're talking about. The roadmap software, you asked. Yeah, I can't trade without it, and when you come down, Jennifer, for the small class, we'll definitely spend a little time on the roadmap, because I think that's another important part of the small classes. I think you're starting to see, and tonight I'll cover, I've been really highlighting the moneymaker feature, but you're starting to see just how awesome it is using the connection of the key numbers with what's happening in the market, showing you where opportunity is and showing you how to make money. I mean, you got to stand back. I mean, honestly, stand back and look at the trades that we put out there. Very high quality trades that end up, growing your account. In fact, if you were in my small option, small option strategy, 25-cent trader, we had a big one there. I think almost 80-something% return overnight. Not bad, huh? Can everybody hear me okay? I want to make sure I'm getting a comment there. Did anybody take that trade? I'm just curious. Did anybody take that trade that we did? Paid about a quarter for it and sold it for about 40 cents. Nice trade. Nice trade. The TLT trade was another good one. Yep, exactly. I mean, doesn't take a lot of trades like that to really, build your account up. Jennifer says, I took it all. Jennifer is one of those few people that found us sort of by accident, ended up coming to Sawgrass, and really has just changed her trading 100%. She's really jumped in and really hopefully changed the way she does, things. just learning and listening. Mark says the roadmap, MTI, and TNT have resurrected my near dead accounts beginning to flourish. Thanks, Tom and DTI. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. Because if somebody is about to blow themselves up their account, hopefully we get in time, they listen and learn. That's the goal. Well, let me get started. We got a good night to talk about a couple things with the news tomorrow morning. I plan to be pretty active after that news. I'll put out some trades tomorrow once we get through that roadblock, I guess you'll call it, to the market going a lot higher. I like to avoid pain and suffering, don't I? I like to avoid the pain and suffering of trading. Hard to do sometimes, but I like to avoid it. Got a great crowd here, and thank you for being here. I always know it's time to start. I want to see Frank's here. Frank's from Sacramento. Hello, Frank. All right, risk. Let's talk about risk. Always worry about the risk when you do a trade. Like if you put a trade on, high odds you're going to make money, but what if you don't? And make sure it doesn't just kill you when it doesn't work. Okay, past performance is not indicative of future results. Now, folks that don't know this, I'm a former Air Force officer, active trader since the 70s, former member of Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Have 3 books: Winning the Day Trading Game, The Markets Never Sleep, and Trade to Win. I would encourage you to get those books and read those books. I would encourage you to do that. My cousin wrote them. I think they're some of the best trading books out there. They're still viable today. What worked back then works today. Read the books and take away a whole history of how to do this game of trading. In my opinion, market's going higher. As I always tell people, 7 out of 10 days should be higher in a bull market. I think that what gets people a little frustrated sometimes, the market has a breathing stage. When it has a breathing stage, your options, lose value. You feel like you'll never get out of them. The key to option trading, you ought to write this one down, is have enough time left in expiration to come back. That's the key. That's the key to option trading. Don't run out of time. That's all you got is time, price, and entries and exit. All right, the money maker. Okay, this is something that I use. I start in the evening, okay? I start in the evening. Notice I've got there the E-mini at 65.65. Does everybody know where that number came from? That was the day's high in the E-mini. That was the day's high in the E-mini. I've got a 65.22 sell number. That number was today's low. So what I do, and I do this every night, I'll look at it. It's very simple. I take the money maker and I put those in there. Then I put the tickers in there that I care about trading. Okay? Let me give you an example. The SPY, if the market goes to 65.65 tomorrow, the SPY will go to 654.45. That's great knowledge to have. Now, the question you ought to ask is, Tom, when do I update this throughout the day? Typically, I will update these numbers, especially if the lower high is broken, sometime after 5 o'clock in the morning. The next time I'll update them is after RB3. Then after RB4, I update them for the close. But I stay current with all the numbers. Let me give you an example. Let's say I see the S&P climbing, and I have a long QQQ call, right? Can everybody hear me okay? Can everybody hear me? Tell me you can hear me. Car Rod, you need to sign out and sign back in. Somebody tell them to sign out and sign back in. Okay, I want to take you through this mental gymnastic. Say I'm long the QQQ. The S&P is at 65.50. I have a long call on the QQQ. When it hits 583.48, then I'll take my profit. See how you milk some of these great trades I put you in by using the moneymaker? Let me give you another example. How many people know I love trading the TQQ? Okay. Assuming that we don't make a new low overnight, we don't make a new low tomorrow morning, then I can go in there tomorrow on the TQQ and sell a option that expires tomorrow on the TQQQ. If I was going to sell a put spread, what number would I sell tomorrow if I thought the low was in place? What number would I sell tomorrow? This is a money maker if you know how to use it. I'd sell to 93 or below. Absolutely, Jim. Let's talk about Apple. Apple today, from the early morning, was breaking a lot further than it had forecasted to break. When that happened, I knew, based on experience, that Apple was going to sink even further. So you watch the relative performance of where you start throughout the day. Now let's look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA today went up and made new highs. If I'm long NVIDIA tomorrow, okay, if I'm long NVIDIA tomorrow and the market's headed higher, I'm going to shoot for 179.5. You see how to use that? How many people were aware they had this tool right inside the roadmap software? Now remember, in TNT tomorrow, that's why it's important to be a member. I will post the numbers to get us started in the day. Everything's based on the E-mini futures. Now, you say, well, how does that affect gold? Say I'm long gold. Gold trades about 88% of what the general market does. So if I'm long gold and the market's going higher, I can expect to see on GLD 336.48. Does this give you a better understanding of the value of the moneymaker? I'm making a point here tonight, boys and girls. Use these tools I've created. They will make you so much money by putting a little time in and watching it. Now I'm teaching, or right now I have a class in SPX. Today I posted where I thought the S&P would be at the close. I did it about 2:30 or 3. The SPX at the time, okay, was coming down. It was negative. My number was 65.30 on the SPX. E-mini. Guess where the SPX closed? 65.32. That's how you use it every day. Now, if you got the roadmap, you ought to get excited. If you don't have the roadmap, you ought to find out a way to get it, okay? I wanted to spend a little time talking about this tonight. Look for my numbers to be modified in the morning when I wake up in TNT at 5:30, which argues you better get in TNT, right? Okay? That's how you do it. These are the tickers I'll be looking at tomorrow. If everything's trending with the mini or something moving against the mini, this is the other thing I look for when I'm watching the moneymaker. How do I know if something's off? If it goes further than what is predicted, that tells me. For example, if we get to the high price on the mini and Apple has not moved up, I know Apple is not relatively performing with the mini. There's negative divergence. Negative divergence brings back lower prices for Apple. That actually occurred today. I saw it coming. You run away from stocks like that on a day that's like that. Neil said he saw the print, and that's why he sold the SPX at 65.10 today. He walked home with a bunch of money. Okay? Folks, listen and learn what I teach you. You will get better at this game. You got to lose a lot of money through the School of Hard Knocks to know this kind of stuff. All right, this is what happened when it fell. Everybody see that closing bell trade right there? That's exactly what happened with Apple as it would not rally with the market. It broke the predicted low and went down and made a new low. Now, if we get the high price on E-mini and NVIDIA is even higher, that tells me buy more. Everybody understand how you pyramid something? If you get to the high price and it's higher than where it should be, that stock's outperforming the index, telling you it's going higher. This is what's known as an art of tape reading, and this is what I show people to do. Like today, NVIDIA was stronger than expected. I use the moneymaker for trading long calls, long puts, selling option spreads, and I even use it for selling sophisticated strategies like iron condor. Tomorrow after 12 o'clock, between 12 and 3, I will determine a range for the SPX and I will sell an iron condor on it. Capture both ends against the middle. Now, if you want to learn this stuff, you're going to get my SPX program. Because what I do is I teach what I can show you how this works. No mystery involved. You'll be able to do like so many people are doing. People in my SPX now, I get love letter after love letter, win after win with what I taught. And we haven't even started the program yet. It's going to be the most actual program I have using the moneymaker in conjunction. There are other insights with the moneymaker, and no other feature I've ever seen has for serious traders. So write these times down. Tonight, I'll post this into the TNT room, the current prices, meaning the current projected price. Tomorrow at 5, I'll post in the TNT room what the moneymaker's saying for what I know at that time. After RB3, Chuck will be posting this in there. And after RB4, Chuck will be posting in TNT, keeping everybody current. Seven Sisters update right now. Everything's hotter than a pistol. Look at that, 10%, 13%. Y'all remember when I made a big deal about we're entering chimpanzee time? T-Buzz the chimp. Y'all remember me making a big deal about that Sawgrass, saying on July 21st, this market is going to be a buy? Y'all remember me talking about that? Look at what's happened. We're up 10% on E-mini, 12% on NASDAQ, 6% on the Dow, 18% on the DAX. Gold has soared. Crude oil has continued to fall, and bonds are now in play. I can't do any better than that, can I? To give you a forecast that pure. You know how you can find out what I think? Be in my weekly newsletter. It's got all this stuff in there. It's a real expensive product, though. It's $9.99 for a year. I have had them put the link in there for people that's not a member. 10 plays for the week. What do we got? I give this out on Sunday night, and I give this out because I want you to make money. And it's pretty simple to make money if you'll follow the 10 ticker plays. For example, there's the old chimp. He's back in play. Google. If you'd have went long 235, I want you to go look at where Google is tonight and tell me where it is. Where's Google tonight? Where's Google trading? And I'm going to ask the question once you post the price. I use Schwab, Jennifer. I use Interactive Brokers, and I use that. So it's at 239.90 for Google, right? So if it's at 239, I could be up about 4 points. Look at the TQQ, 93.55, hit 95 today. There's one, the QQQ. Could you have made any money going long the Delta 50 strategy on the QQQ? Give me a yes if you could. Another 500 bucks there, buying 2 simple options on the QQQ. How about the SPY? SPY hadn't, let me check the SPY, see where the SPY is tonight. 652. So it's in play for tomorrow. There's silver, Elon stock I like. What about old gold? You think you can make any money buying a Delta 50 strategy on gold once it hits? You could have held those overnight, Barry. Look at that. 5 points. Anybody use an extra $1,000? Buy you 2 golds. Does everybody know what I mean when I say Delta 50? I got a training on it. You got to go find it. I don't know where it's at. It's probably on YouTube about my Delta 50/10 strategy. Folks, you know why I have more people attending Sunday night, more and more people? Because I give away money. This is money with the Delta 50. So we'll cover this in Train and Trade tomorrow, more detail about the Delta 50 to make sure everybody understands. Okay? Not complicated, it's just a simple way to take advantage of what I give you. Now, somebody asked me this question, Tom, what's your biggest breakthrough in trading over the past 10 years? I'll tell you the biggest breakthrough. I'm a 24-hour trader, I'm a swing trader, I'm a long-term trader. My biggest breakthrough in trading over the past 10 years is discovering that 12 o'clock during the day is one of the most key times in the 24-hour cycle. I didn't know that until the last 2 years. Okay? Been doing it for 40 years, and it came to me through a class. We call it Genesis. Then I said, boy, this is a lot of work having to write all this stuff down, doing all this stuff, taking me hours to prepare, right? Here's the biggest breakthrough. I spent time with the programmer. We programmed Genesis, and now every day at 12 o'clock, you're going to get the key tickers. And by the way, I added 2 extra ones today because I know that's where everybody's interest is. I put the E-mini there on Genesis, and I also put SPX. We're going to skin that cat as hard as we can. That ought to make you excited. So here's what we're going to do. I did a presentation today on Genesis. I offer a very special deal to get you involved. Don't leave home without it. I'm going to have Adam play it for you. I'll sit here and listen. If you got any questions, we'll monitor it. Me, Jonathan, and Adam get those questions answered if you haven't. But listen to this presentation. People tell me it's one of the best I ever gave. I did it with Graham. Take a listen. Tell me what you do. Okay?
I'll take it from here, T-Buzz.
You got it.
Moves each and every day ahead of time. You can see my brokerage shot there from one of them that I took just recently with my own money. Now, we develop tools and strategies to the best of our ability, but no one can guarantee the future. There's always a risk of loss when trading. In fact, winners and losers are bound to happen. So never go all in. Don't risk more than you can afford to lose. And you can see more information on this on our homepage. Now, our whole purpose of our research is to give you an edge when it comes to trading. But remember, losers have happened and they will happen again. So if you're new and you're just worried about getting started, maybe start paper trading for a while. But we're going to do the best to make your experience great. Now, my name is Graham Lindman, and when I was only 15 years old, I began trading under the mentorship of a former banking VP, Tom Busby, who taught me the driving principles of the stock market. And within my first year under his wing, we were able to double my $100,000 trading account, taking it north to $250,000 in what felt like no time. Now, this was paper trading because I wasn't even 18 at the time, but just to show you the power of Tom's principles. And that officially kickstarted my investing career, and I've never looked back. Using some of those same principles he taught me, I was able to double my account in 2021. This was my Robinhood account back then, up over $33,000. And some of his principles are behind many of the successful trades from our opening playbook sessions. Anytime you hear me talk about price action or looking at key numbers, that came from Tom. He's the one that taught me that. Well, Recently, I got a call from Tom with some groundbreaking news. You see, using these same market-driving principles, he's actually been able to build out what might be the most hands-free trading weapon that has ever existed. And you guys here are going to love this because we know that you love trading with us every day. And this is actually in our quiet hour here on Opening Playbook where you can get some more action. Now, it's a next-generation smart algo that automatically sends you high-powered trade alerts on autopilot nearly every single day. That means while you're out doing things you love, away from the screens, or maybe just grabbing lunch, whenever you hear that ding in your pocket, you know another high conviction trade has been dialed up. For example, like on October 7th, you could have been grabbing lunch at your favorite restaurant, heard that ding in the pocket, pushed a few buttons to set the trade, and turned an 88% gain there overnight. Maybe Tuesday, you were out taking a hike, getting some fresh air, and that day you got the ding in the pocket, 91% gain overnight here. Wednesday, let's say you're playing tennis. That sounds fun. I wish I could get out in the middle of the day and go play tennis. That would be awesome. But you hear that ding in your pocket, 48% gain there. We can go over and over again. Thursday, 96%. Friday, 107% gain there over the weekend. Now, someone started with $1,000 in each after only 5 quick trades and maybe 15 minutes of your time. That could have been an extra $4,314 in trading profits over the week, all thanks to a brand new fully automated smart algo that we call Genesis. And I love this. You guys are going to see some research here today that's going to shock you, dissecting the different market hours of the day, and it's going to be really, really eye-opening. Now, to set the stage, Genesis isn't like your old-fashioned trading software indicator. This smart algo requires zero oversight. Each automatic alert includes everything you need to trade on the go. You get the stock ticker, entry price, profit target, stop loss, and even an individual chart, as you can see right there. Now, that means instead of sitting at your desk, wasting hours of your day, hunting for new trading setups, you can have a chance to target the next win while doing the things you love. Now, the Genesis algo is the culmination of over 40 years of market experience, T-Buzz's market experience, and it's all automated, all in one place. And it's unlocking a whole new way to trade the stock market. For example, like back on September 12th, at the time, the QQQ, dead in the water. Not much to write about there, but thanks to Genesis running 24/7 around the clock, you could have been out for a morning bicycle ride, or maybe you were sitting at the desk like me. Either way, you get the ding right there and read that the QQQ was on the verge of breaking out over the next hour with a 78% confidence rating based on the results from a 16-month study. And anybody who could have set the trade with a few clicks of their phone, maybe invested $2,000, when everything worked out, it hit the profit target there, and you could have pocketed an extra $1,723. Look at that. It said it was going to break out over the next hour. What happened? It broke out. Now, a quick $1,000 from one trade is great, but that's not even close to the best part. You see, unlike a lot of trading strategies out there, with Genesis, we don't need to wait days or weeks for the next entry signal either. Genesis is automatically generating these extremely accurate trade signals up to 5 times per day. And as you'll see in a moment, it's not just at any random time. It's very, very specific, making your job even easier. Now, that means this smart algo literally generates an abundance of trade opportunities each and every day. For example, like the 3 trades that would have hit on the same day. September 12th here, GLD, 76%, 164% on SPY, 270% on IWM. Now, of course, it shouldn't go without saying that the markets don't come with guarantees. There's no magical button for instant wealth. Now, our internal audit that overlaid the options trade on the live trade signals showed remarkable results. But obviously, we can't promise anything in the future. So if you're looking to get rich overnight, do yourself a favor and log off now. But if you're looking for an undeniable edge, a new way to trade the markets unlike anything that we've ever seen before, then look no further. Because with Genesis, you'll always have a constant stream of alerts firing off in your back pocket to choose from, with tickers that are leading the pack, the tickers that are breaking out in the next few hours. So no more headaches staring at confusing chart patterns, no forcing low probability trades. Genesis does all the heavy lifting for you automatically. So if you want to be one of the first in the world to have a behind the scenes look at this incredible trading breakthrough, then stay tuned, because by the end of this broadcast, a handful of folks will be able to jump in on the next stock Genesis flag to break out today, literally within the next few hours, targeting what could be the next great move. So if you want in on the next opportunity, I want to hear from you right now. Post Genesis there in the chat, and I think our chat's closed, so I won't even be able to see it. But go ahead and do it for fun and let David Mound hear you. So let's go ahead and do it. Like I mentioned a moment ago, my name is Graham Lindman, and you might recognize me from my flagship Perfect Apple trade or heard about my famous wrap orders, which has helped folks see doubles in their trading. Now, as much as I'd love to take all of the credit and tell you that I'm a self-made six-figure trader who figured it out all on my own, well, that would simply not be true. You see, my trading career dates all the way back to nearly 20 years ago, down in Mobile, Alabama, meeting one-on-one with one of the greatest traders of our lifetime. His name is Tom Busby. Now, Tom got started in the markets back in the 70s, and since then, he's been featured all over the place. His books are still one of the most valuable resources I know of for traders at all levels, whether you're just getting started or if you've been at it for a few decades like we have. There's a lot of insights in there. And much of Tom's success dates back to when he was handpicked, get this, handpicked by the Chicago Mercantile Exchange to receive his very own Globex terminal. This was a huge, huge deal. He was one of only 50 in the world to get this new technology. Now, that gave him insights to the markets that almost no one else had at the time. And it even helped him manage a firm so successfully that it was eventually bought out by the $1.3 trillion institution, Morgan Stanley. And now that he's walked away from Wall Street, he's been on a mission to show everyday folks how to tap into some of the same methods that have been kept away from the average Joe. And you guys can see some of the stories here. Of course, you saw some in the chat earlier. Bruce here, when I follow you, I make money. Tom is committed to helping you all the way through the trade. Bobby, program's amazing, over $2,000 today. Emmanuel here, you're a great teacher, made around $2,200 from one trade. Keep up the good work. So Tom, take it away from here. Show us what Genesis is all about.
Well, thanks, Graham. And one of the nice things about it, it takes a lot of work to get the right information. Embracing technology with Genesis allows us to do that. In a moment, I'll reveal how Genesis identified breakout stocks averaging 78% win rate during our 16-month audit. But first, it's important to remember there's no get-rich button when it comes to trading. So please, once you get your hands on this tool today, and everybody here ought to do that if you want to be a better trader, because it does a lot of the work for you. It leads you to the right answer. Be smart, don't over-leverage yourself. You see, Genesis is designed to radically change when you enter trades and how you look at the markets. Most people believe buying fear and selling greed is the key to becoming a successful trader. I'm sure you've heard Warren Buffett's famous saying, buy when others are fearful and sell when others are greedy. And while that's generally a great approach in theory, try it emotionally. The sad reality is it's practically impossible for the average trader to execute that strategy. When fear is at its peak, the urge to sell can be overwhelming, which almost always turns out to be the wrong decision. And when greed takes over, the temptation to keep riding the wave can lead to devastating losses. So if you ever made critical mistakes in your own trading because you felt the fear of missing out or the fear of losing money, it's not your fault. As a human, these emotions are hardwired in your brain as a basic survival instinct. What you need is a way to overcome these human handicaps using a more practical, data-driven approach. One that helps you get a clear picture when stocks on the verge of breaking out. For example, check out what happened back on July the 9th. At the time, the S&P 500 was stuck, going nowhere fast. Most traders would have had no clue the S&P was about to break out or crash to new lows. But if you knew on this candlestick right there, despite a high probability of breaking out the next day with a 78% success rate, of course you'd buy it. You'd have the confidence to do it. And you didn't have to be at the computer to catch that trade either. In fact, you could have been out playing a little golf. That ding also comes with this. You need that ding. Automatically receive the entry signal with the stop loss and profit target criteria to practically set it and forget it. Click a few buttons from your cell phone. It's that simple. And watch as the SPY hit a profit target the very next day. 73% gain on that one. But that's not even the best part, because the very next day, hey, I was out throwing the football, heard that ding, placed that quick trade, and was paid before I went to eat that night. 96% gain on the SPY.
Tom, that's incredible. I mean, $2,000 into each would have paid out $3,406 in profit. That's additional profit on top in only 24 hours. And that's on charts that gave almost no directional bias to the naked eye. But Genesis was able to turn it into not one, but two big winners. So Tom, I need to know, how is Genesis able to predict these quick breakouts over and over again, sometimes multiple in a single day?
That's the question I'd be asking. And all thanks to these market breakouts that happen during one specific hour of the day. 12 o'clock Eastern. Write that time down. Don't leave here without writing that time down. I call this time the Genesis hour. Now, most so-called experts will lead you to believe that stock market's dead during the middle of the day, like watching paint dry. That couldn't be further from the truth. Look at that chart right there. It tells everything. Each hour of the day, the importance of that hour, the morning hours, midday, and the afternoon. And as you clearly see, there's hardly any money made during the opening or closing hours of the day, just noise to take your money. The real money is made during the Genesis hour, getting that direction. Anyone can identify the stocks breaking out during the Genesis hour, can repeatedly target these quick moves. Hey, look at the Russell 2000 in the news lately. On June 17th, anyone watching the opening hours of the day might assume that small caps are ready to head lower. Of course, knowing what you know now, you wouldn't have been shocked by the morning drop. But then during the Genesis hour, everything changed. 4 out of 5 days it changes. With Asia and Europe, markets closed, the noise gone, you're able to quickly see that the Russell 2000 was breaking out. Been alerted right away, automatically, comes right to you, and look what came next. 114% gain.
In one day.
Yeah. What did happen again on July 16th? In the morning, the markets drifted around, taking your money, not a ton of directional bias. But during the Genesis hour, Wall Street showed their cards and IWM started breaking out. What a massive opportunity, what they call the boring lunch hour. Genesis algo would have automatically sent the entry alert on IWM, tell you where to get in, how to get in, and when to get out. Anyone in taking that trade would have taken about 30 seconds, 125% gain. This should get your attention.
Yeah, that is awesome.
If that's not good enough for you, what you happen one more time a few days later on July the 22nd, that morning noise, Genesis hour breakout, here we go. Automatically entry, built-in option selection, away we go. 280% gain on that one.
Wow, that's nice. Tom, that's really, really cool. It's cool how you were able to break down the morning trade session, the afternoon trade session, and then what happens right in the middle of the day, tipping off Wall Street's hand. Now, Tom, $1,000 in that last trade alone, just that single trade, would have paid out $2,800 in profit overnight. If you were more confident, started with $2,500, we're looking at $7,000 in pure profit. Now, that's enough cash that could cover a few months of the car payment, maybe cut down some credit card debt, or simply just throw it in the savings account, or maybe one of the great stocks that we have picks for you here on Opening Playbook, all from one 24-hour trade. Now, Tom, I have to admit, I think this data may come as a shock to most everyone here in the room. I mean, I've been told countless times that there's no money to be made during the day, especially during that lunch hour, because everyone is off to, grab lunch, or they're just taking a break. I was always told the middle of the day might be a quieter time, but the actual data here that you dug up for us tells us a completely different story. You guys can see there just how bullish that noon to 2 p.m. Eastern hours are. Very, very
I call it the noon balloon.
I love it. So why are stocks breaking out during the middle of the day, during this Genesis hour?
Well, Graham, there's something really important that happens during this hour. The Genesis hour is the first time in the day that stocks are able to move freely on their own, meaning all the other world markets are closed and we're focused on the U.S. Most people assume the trading day starts with 9:30 opening bell. That's not the case. The day starts much earlier the previous night with Asia, then Europe. By the time the U.S. markets open, it's totally cluttered and filled with noise, overnight orders, and all that during the morning action. It's nearly impossible to figure out what Wall Street's really doing. And it's nearly impossible to find out which stocks are really breaking out. However, with the 12 o'clock Eastern rolls around, something really special happens. It's the first hour of the day that the overseas markets are closed, and it's the first time that we see Wall Street trading freely on their own without the noise from international markets. That's why you'll see so many opportunities during the Genesis hour, because the worldwide competition has been eliminated and U.S. traders are running the show. And anyone who can spot stocks breaking out during the 12 o'clock Genesis hour can then jump in ahead of what could be your next major move. Hey, take a look at what happened on August 19th. At the time, the stock market was chopping around, going nowhere fast, not much directional bias, just market noise. But during the Genesis hour at 12, once the international markets were done for the day, S&P started breaking out. What happened next? That was a clear signal Wall Street was buying up stocks in the first real hour of that trading day, and the markets could go roaring higher. Anyone who placed a quick trade could front run the move, would have seen a 45% gain on that day. Then take a look at what happened next. August 21st, S&P was dropping in the morning. That was just a bunch of noise. Right on time during the Genesis hour, Wall Street took complete control. Overseas competition was eliminated, and the markets were officially breaking out. Now, you could be out to lunch with some of your best friends, heard that ding in the pocket, letting you know that S&P 500 was on the move, giving you specific criteria to take advantage of the opportunity at hand. Anyone who clicked a few buttons to follow along could have seen a 67% gain on the spot. Love to trade spot.
Tom, this is amazing. I have to say, I've never heard anything like this before, but the proof is in the pudding. And it's really, really cool how you're able to turn what most people think is a boring part of the day into great winners like this, 45%, 67%, and many more. In fact, anyone following along with your Genesis algo could have seen not 2, not 3, but 6 opportunities that week. They're coming one after the other here. And all 6 of those actually would have won. So it would have been a pretty nice week going 6-0. Even a small $500 into each of them would have paid out $1,268 in profit for the week. Which
annual about $60,000, Graham.
That's exactly right. It's not a life-changing sum of cash, thinking $1,200, but that's definitely enough to move the needle, especially considering that the week before, look at this, guys, 5 for 5 with the Genesis algo. This thing is red hot. When Tom showed you those stats at the beginning of today's class, he really means it. He is on fire with this way of trading. 4 of which of those would have paid over 100%. So $500 into each that week would have paid $2,789 in profit for the week. Over
$100,000. You got a pay raise so that week.
That's right. That is a pay raise. And that reminds me of what some of your top students have said in the past. Here we have Hugh from Minnesota. Made $3,656 in a single day. That's awesome. Jim P, total of $2,060. Great way to start the month. Please pass along my thanks to Tom. And then there's Ken. He says, I love the simplicity. It's a great tool to trade. Picked up an extra $3,200 today.
I love it every time I call them love letters I get from the students, but my best students like Hugh, Jim, and Ken know that with all traders, bound to be winners and losers, so never go all in on a single trade. Luckily, you don't have to. In a moment, I'll show you how you're able to leverage these quick moves with explosive, cheap options that only run about $100 a contract. That's right, $100 a contract. So you can always start small and grow it and scale it over time.
Wow, Tom, only $100. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone here can afford to get in on that. That's $1 per contract, folks. So, Tom, tell us, do we just wait for 12 p.m., that Genesis hour to roll around, and then just buy any stock going higher at noon?
Well, if you wanted to do that, I'm sure you'd get some solid results. But, of course, in order to get the optimum returns, I wouldn't buy any stock going higher during the Genesis hour. Instead, I want to know which tickers are the strongest in the markets they're in. And the fastest horse, the one leading the pack, the secretariat of the bunch, leading the breakout. Now, if you've been following what I've been doing for any amount of time, you may have heard me talk about my custom-built trading technology. It's Power Zone. It's a revolutionary tool that my team built to isolate stocks breaking out during the week. The Power Zone takes into account multiple key numbers, including the high and low prices of the reference bars across 5 different 30-minute candlesticks and 1% average true range calculations in each individual stock. Now, the tool cost us north of $500,000 to get up and running, but it's been worth every penny, as you see from what we've been doing. Whenever a stock crosses into the power zone during the Genesis hour, that means it's leading the pack and breaking out. And you can place these quick trades, let Wall Street do the heavy lifting for us. Once I optimize the power zone for intraday charts, I'll be in live trading it with my own money on the line, manually tracking each entry, each exit, each profit result. And I have to say, they're even better than I thought they were originally we're going to be. Look at this model portfolio, 278% account growth during our 16-month audit. Now that stands pretty high on the ladder right there.
Mm-hmm. And the 78% win rate, that's really, really good.
Yep. As impressive that is, we wasn't satisfied. We keep improving it. So we've taken it to the next level and automated the whole thing. That means no more time glued to a half dozen screens. No more back of the napkin math. Your life just got a whole lot easier. The signal normally comes right about 12:05 Eastern time each day, and we place a quick trade to take advantage of it, knowing that our results are about 78% accurate from that. Like with gold on September the 24th. Not much going on during the morning trading hours, just noise. Then right on time, right during the Genesis hour, gold was breaking out into the power zone, meaning there was a good chance that gold would carry on higher with 78% confidence rating based on our exhaustive study. Automatically, now folks, automatically alerted you right there around 12:05 with the entry, ticker, entry price, where you're wrong, and your profit target. Details are all included. Anyone who would place a quick trade to follow along could have seen an 83% gain on that one.
Wow.
Now, the program has been fixed to specifically target the breakouts on the biggest and most liquid tickers out there, the SPY, the QQQ, IWM, GLD, USO. That way you can automatically target the fastest horse in the race. Once the smoke clears at noon, U.S. traders take over during that hour, Genesis hour. Then we simply piggyback on their move, riding the next breakout. Like the trade that happened on September 11th, one of the best results we've seen so far. Again, the markets were chopping around just like the data shows, but then right on time during the Genesis hour, the QQQ was breaking out into the power zone. And sure enough, a massive rally came next. And if you had Genesis working for you automatically in your pocket, you'd have heard that ding with the entry details, everything spelled out, and away you'd go. And after taking about 30 seconds to place that trade, going back to whatever you were doing. And 24 hours later, cashed out with a 266% gain on that ticker, QQQQ.
Tom,
Invested on that one would have paid out $2,663 and some odd cents profit overnight.
Yeah, overnight there. I mean, and if someone was more confident, maybe start with 5 times as much. We're talking about 13 grand overnight. Now, most folks I know of would love to make that type of money in a month. I would love to make that type of money in a month off of one trade, let alone in 24 hours. So tell me, is it really just that easy?
Depends on who you ask, Graham. Running countless strategy tests, working with market data, sophisticated programs to build this tool was not easy. But fast forward to today, getting a simple entry alert to your phone with all the information needed to take the trade. Riding a bike may be more difficult than following along with Genesis. I simply wait for Genesis to alert me that during that time of day, right around noon, and if I like the trade, click a few buttons and I'm all set. For example, look what happened last June. Monday, June the 10th, no action on the SPY in the morning as expected. Then during the Genesis hour, here it comes. Folks with the Genesis algo would immediately receive the alert with all the necessary information. 2 days later, cashed out with an 87% gain. And there's something really important to note with automatic entries, because we're able to get the signals in a split second. No delay without taking tons of time on our end. We can get an execution advantage. That's important. For example, same story, next day, June 11th. It's like watching paint dry in the morning. There's no money to be made before noon. Then Genesis happens, 103% gain on the SPY again. You know, all week long, folks could have made money on the Genesis algo. Wednesday, June 12th, maybe where you're out waiting for fish to bite, heard the ding, there's an 82% gain. Thursday, another ding while enjoying the summer air, 94% gain on the SPY. Friday, June 14th, no different, while mentally preparing for a nice, relaxing weekend, heard the ding, here we go again, 160% gain on the SPY. Now, if someone started with $1,000 in each trade that week, they would have profited $5,275. Folks, now we got a real pay raise, over $200,000.
Yeah,
and with that's without compounding any of the gains.
That's right. I love it too, how it's always firing right around 12:05 p.m. each and every day. You're not having to look at the charts and run around and see if you miss a signal. You always know when it's coming. Speaking of which, we're just a couple minutes out from that now. So I'm really excited to see what's on tap for today. Hey, Tom, if someone started 5K, we're looking at $26,000 in a single week. And the best part is that's without any heavy lifting on our part, because your automated trading algo does the heavy lifting for you. It's the Genesis algo.
That's right, Graham. In fact, I made the algorithm so good, it actually can replace me doing all this work. And with the astounding results we've seen, I'm ready to grant access to a few people here today to be part of it. You can start searching for the latest, greatest trading indicator, trading software. Requires you to manually do all the legwork, keep second guessing yourself, getting messed up with your emotions. Cut out the guesswork and pay attention to Genesis, unlocking what could be your best trading year yet. So if you're ready to tap into the future of trading with an entirely new way, and I'm officially inviting you to take charge of your financial future with the power of Genesis. Genesis is the only smart algo I know that isolates stocks breaking out during the most powerful trading hour of the day. You won't hear anybody else talking about this. Automatically generating alerts with everything you need to trade on the go. The entry price, your profit target, stop loss, everything you need, information, selecting the option right in the palm of your hand. Now, before I reveal the full list of breakout stocks that Genesis flagged today, let me walk you through how the membership's going to work. Every day, Genesis will scan through all the major indicators, tickers, biggest. When it flags one of these tickers breaking out during the Genesis hour, you'll immediately hear that ding in your pocket and the alert hits your cell phone or computer. Get the entry price, the ticker, where you're wrong, where you're right. All the details are included right there for you. Everything you need to target what could be your next great win. 51% gain on this one on the QQQ. 1, 2, 3. Think about the steps. 1, 2, 3. Access these alerts. Opt in to receive the automatic Genesis alerts via Telegram starting right now. That way there's no delay in getting your next entry. All the details on how to sign up can be found in your members portal that's hosted on the main website. No download required. And I'll walk you through that live during a masterclass I'm hosting. And we can expect an average of 2 to 5 alerts per day. You heard me, 2 to 5 per day.
That's a ton of fun right there, Tom. And now we normally wrap up these opening playbook sessions, 11:30 or noon or so. So this comes in perfect time, and they'd log off the opening playbook, and they're firing away trades from the Genesis algo, keeping the party rolling.
It's the best of the best, Graham, at this time of day. Now, look, if you want to trade the underlying stock with the Genesis alerts rise, that's okay. But if you want to target some of these big outside returns, like I showed you today, you got to use options. Now, if you're new to options, that's okay. I will show you and teach you what you need to know. You can use the most basic form of options available, which is a call or put options. Find them to the Genesis trades. It's no harder than shooting a layup. And for those who want to dig a little deeper into options, other unique ways to leverage these Genesis alerts, target great firms, go to the Option Bootcamp 101. Teaches you what you need. Income plus. Now, I even teach you my personal method for selection, high-powered weekly options that are low price, but have shown the power to pay massive returns. That way, any new members who join today are equipped to hit the ground running right out of the gate. For example, like the Genesis trade on October 11th. Anyone who got in on that one, 92 cents for $92 per contract, 107% gain. 84 cents, $84 per contract, 266% gain.
And Tom, that is dirt cheap. I love it. We've got options traders in the room packing the house each and every day. We've got sophisticated options traders too. They're going to eat this up. Someone put $2,500 into each of those. That would have been enough to pull $9,325 in cash. That's a good chunk of change. But your VIP coaching programs here at DTI already run north of $10,000 per year.
And I'm booked solid, folks. Let me tell you, this is something you want to have to trade with.
Oh, you definitely do. And again, $10,000 is not out of the equation to join. I think my parents paid probably pretty close to that to get me working with you when I was still in high school. So I think that the price tag would be more than fair, considering that there's nothing else quite like Genesis out there. So what's it going to be?
Well, not going to be 10,000. We set up an amazing deal because I'm here with Graham right now. Before we open these doors, get ready. Here's what gets me really excited about it. 83% gain, 150% gain, 164 in just a couple of days. This is what you want to have every day to look at. I reworked algo to alert us when certain tickers are breaking down during the day, and you can make money when it goes down. And Wall Street is aggressively selling. Not only do these Genesis downside trades work, there's a clear-cut path to target some big outside moves with those. Entry, profit target, stop loss, everything you need to take advantage of. But let me be very clear. These downside trades have the same profit potential as upside ones. Now, I'm not just saying that. Some of the biggest opportunities from the study have been downside moves. For example, consider the 3-day market crash we saw back in July. Each day, the Genesis algo picked up a short opportunity during that span, and each one would have been a home run trade. That means over the fence, folks, over the fence. 168%, 283%, 324%.
Tom, those were all back to back trading to the downside. $2,000 into that last one alone. If you missed the first two and only caught the last one, which you're never going to miss them. They're always at 12, so you know when to check. But $8,480 overnight, and that was just one of the 3 downside trades that hit that week. So with this Genesis downside trade included as a bonus, it's no surprise that the price for this exclusive membership, guys, $4,295 per year. And that's what you'd see on the main website as well. $4,200 for 1 year of access.
But if you take action here today, here's a couple surprises I have up my sleeve, and they're going to shock you. Bonus number 1. We're going to take, right here in this webinar, give you $500 off the sticker price. But not just that. Like I mentioned a minute ago, just shown the power to pay out up to 5 times per day. So if you take action right now, we're going to give you that $500 discount times 5.
I love it.
That means $2,500 off. Now take the price from $42.95 down to $17.95 for total access.
Tom, that means at the current run rate and the types of opportunities you've shown us, if everything goes as planned, the entire membership could be paid off in less than a week. We saw many weeks here today from these examples where those string of trades paid over $2,000 with no compounding and starting with like $500. So after that, everything's just icing on the cake. Like some of your students have seen. Prim said, I subscribed last Friday, already recovered my capital plus $1,000 extra. That's icing on the cake. Whitney says, made my cost of subscription plus $500 in the very first week. Grateful to have found you.
You know, I'd love to see these new people that join us today, Graham, have the whole membership get covered early. I call it a scholarship, and that's why I'm going to give them bonus number 2. Half off because we're live for action takers today. We're going to do something to make this an absolute no-brainer. For new members of Genesis today, I'm slashing the already discounted, heavily discounted price another half. Oh, give me a break. $897 for a year? This special $897 offer is only guaranteed for the first 250 people. Take action now. Take it. Take it before they go. If at any point the customer service team feels we got to cut it off, we'll cut it off.
Yeah, and folks, trust me, you do not want to miss out on this. Be ready to act fast because, guys, this is an insane deal. $897 for access. That is just, Tom, you've done something special here. Tom, last time we did spots, we sold out in less than 2 hours. And now, you know, given that we had over 500 people here today, the limited spots, the new trade coming here in about 30 minutes, these are going to fly off the shelf. So, guys, we're going to post that link here in the chat for you to join. If you click that link in the chat, you are going to get the live webinar discount included. That's going to cut the price from $17.95, which was that discounted rate Tom was proposing earlier, and he's slashing in half for the opening playbook here. Guys, or you can give us a call, 904-706-3532. You want to get Genesis in your toolbox. Again, it's really perfect because we'll do some trading here in the morning on opening playbook, log off around 11:30 or noon, and then you're right to Genesis, keeping the party rolling. So click that link in the chat to get started. if you want to get in for that just incredible deal, Tom, that you put together here today. I thought it was going to be closer to $2,500 for this.
I did too, Graham. I saw that price. I got shocked.
It's a really, really, I mean, guys, it's a no-brainer. And then get this, guys. Once you take one of the best deal memberships, don't close the next page. You guys know we like to do this. On that next page, you can get lifetime access to Genesis. That means no renewal fees, no annual subscription, nothing like that. One-time payment, it's yours to keep. Plus, get this, the lifetime members will also get free access to the Genesis Algo Indicator.
Gotta have it. Gotta have that indicator.
Now, up until now, Tom is only offering the Genesis entry signals on those 5 most popular tickers, very, very liquid tickers that give us a clear picture of where Wall Street is headed that day. However, Tom and his team just published an indicator that unlocks these Genesis signals on every single ticker in the market. Now, starting today, you can get instant access to it for free. I mean, you can find even more of these epic setups on even more stocks all on your own time. And you know the time, right around noon, each and every day during that Genesis hour when the overseas markets are closed, we get a clear picture of what Wall Street is doing, and you get to ride their coattail. So make sure you upgrade your account to lifetime, especially with this deal today. You're going to save a ton of money. But remember, this is a limited offer at this price. It's an opening playbook special. I would not be shocked to see us sell out very, very fast. Again, last time we did a limited deal, sold out in 2 hours. So that would be like selling out before 2 p.m. today. So after that, once we hit that number, Tom's going to get with this team. They're going to figure out what they're going to set the price at, but it's going up from there. So don't miss out. You guys know spots go quick here.
Hey, I can't wait to get you in here. You're going to love it. In fact, get used to checking that clock at 12:05. As a welcoming present, inside your members portal, you're going to see another bonus value at $995 you can access immediately for free. This special cheat sheet we put together to help you have a broader picture. I'll give you insight on all the stocks that Genesis scans in real time. If you want to claim that special bonus, then you have to sign up now. And for gold members, you know who you are. Call in as well, because I've instructed our team to give you a special bonus so good you'll be jumping out of your seat. Go to dtitrader.com/Genesis or call that number 904-706-3532.
And guys, new Genesis entries are going to be waiting for you here in about 30 minutes. So don't delay. If you're interested in this, click that link in the chat, get it locked in, get in that private Telegram and get rolling. Now, Tom, I know that you've been working hard at this for a while, and I've been very impressed with the results that you've seen. I actually took a trade from Genesis, T-Buzz. I don't know if I told you this. This was my brokerage screenshot. I made 315% on the QQQ trade. This is just basic call options in a single day. So even $500 into that one would have paid $1,575 in profit. That's enough to cover the whole membership in one trade and still have about $700 left over. And knowing you and the work you've done helping so many people over the years, I'm really not surprised. You guys have heard some of these stories, but let's keep on rolling here. Dickens, $1,930 in profit in less than 4 days, my top money-making strategy. Nancy says, last Friday, made $1,606 net gain. Never had so much fun in my live trading. And that's the cool thing about here. Genesis is a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun in these live trade rooms. Genesis, like I said, keeps that party rolling where you're not going to have to wait weeks for a new entry or weeks hold time, guys. These are very, very precise and quick trades. Enter at right around 12 p.m. each day, and you have the opportunity to hit your profit target that very day. Denise says, just closed with a $400 profit, up $2,000 since it started. Denise has a small account to trade, so that's a big, big deal to her. Addie P, 100% success rate on the 4 trades, almost a 100% return in a single week. And I can go on and on, guys. Just look at all of these stories. George has been trading for 28 years, and he says Tom is one of the best traders I have ever met in my life, but he's also a heck of a guy. Very humble and down to earth, which is rare for a trader. DB Cooper says, I'm up $12,000 on AMD in 3 trades. Sylvian, Tom, I joined last week. Thanks for the COP trade. Closed that with $2,249 in profit, subscription paid. KP Nadu said, thanks for the service, Tom. I've made my subscription back in the first week. Robert, over $2,000 today. Everyone should be a part of it. And obviously we have so many stories like that. So if you're watching right now, go ahead and join the club. Secure your Genesis membership at the best deal before time runs out, and then upgrade to lifetime. That's a no-brainer to do that now while you have that half-off discount rolling. You're just going to save yourself about $900 to $1,000 by doing that today. So go to dtitrader.com/Genesis or give us a call, 904-706-3532 to get started.
If there's one thing I want you to remember from class today, it's this. As you can clearly see, a lot of money's lost during those opening hour and closing hour, just a lot of noise. The real money's made during the Genesis hour. We have the algo that will give you and tee it up for you. And that's the beautiful thing about it. Look at the Russell 2000 small cap index. There it is. Open hours, nothing. Knowing what you know now, you knew to look at your watch during Genesis and everything changed. And there it is. When Asia and Europe markets are closed, the noise gone, we were able to quickly see the Russell 2000 was breaking out. Alerted right away, automatically, it takes you right to the next step, where to enter, where to exit, and where you're wrong. 114% gain on that one.
And one single day. Now that is fun.
Watch it happen again on July the 16th. In the morning, the market's drifted slightly higher, not a ton of directional bias to base the trade on. IWM started breaking out right at noon. Once during those boring lunch hours, as Wall Street tells you, you're going to be doing something different, aren't you? Genesis Algo would automatically send you the entry alert on IWM, place the trade, 30 seconds to place it, 125% gain, off you go. And that is not enticing enough. Watch it happen one more time a few days later, July the 22nd, morning noise, Genesis hour breakout. Here we go. Automatic entry with built-in option selection, profit target, and stop loss. 280% gain.
That is awesome, guys. Click that link in the chat to get started, Tom. I love what you've done here. I love getting a taste of it myself with over 300% return on my first trade there. Now, guys, if you want to wait around, I'm sure we'll have this available at that discounted, the 5 times discounted price at $1,795, $1,795. But if you want to be smart and save yourself about $900, just click that link in the chat right now to lock in the opening playbook half off live webinar discount, guys. It's a limited time offer. You know that these spots tend to go quick. And Tom, this really should not be running for less than $1,500 a year at the rock bottom pricing. So the fact that you've brought it to us today at $897 for a full year makes it a no-brainer. Then add the lifetime in on top of that. I mean, you guys are saving thousands of dollars here. Now, if you'd like to, just give us a call at 904-706-3532. They can walk you through the membership and everything you're entitled to. Now, Tom, like I mentioned earlier, this notion that stocks are actually most active and bullish during the 12 p.m. hour is so backwards from what most people were taught. And when you first told me about it, I thought you were joking because I had just assumed everyone goes to lunch, Wall Street gets quiet, but really it's just the opposite. And I did my own research too, and I came to the same conclusion. Look at this report over the last 10 years. You guys know I love data. You know I love pulling numbers. Give this a look. What you're looking at is the average movement of the S&P 500 during each hour of the day. So look up here. Here's your legend key, 9:30 to 11 a.m. That's that blue line. 11 to 12, that's that red line. They net out to basically nothing. But check this out. Okay, there you go. Market open, 11 a.m., so on and so forth. Check this out. What's the yellow line? This is the one making all the money, right? Let's find it here on our key. It's that Genesis hour, 12 to 1, and it's not even close. It's a landslide. Again, I pulled my own data here, Tom, just to see for myself if this is really a very legitimate phenomenon. You guys can see it firsthand here. It's not even close. The Genesis hour is where the money's at, so you don't want to miss out on it. And guys, the next window opens up here in what? 21 minutes, now 20 minutes. So we are just—
and Graham, you leave that emotional heartbreak behind you. Look at that yellow line you're talking about. It's like selling after you get that particular time of entry. It's unbelievable how good this is.
That's really, really cool. We're always looking for little, caveats in the market and little phenomenons that we can tap into and exploit. This is one that really blows my mind here because you have all these other hours kind of down here, kind of in the middle. There's some good ones, some bad ones. This one is just sticking out like a sore thumb. It's the money-making hour. So don't miss out on the newest entries, guys. Click that link in the chat to get started or give us a call. Remember, today we've got that special $897 discount, which really makes it so easy for everyone to get started. There's no reason you shouldn't get rolling with the Genesis algo today. Now, Mr. Mound, I know we went for a while here and I didn't get to see all the questions in the chat. If you don't mind jumping in here, getting with Tom here to answer a few of those questions to take it home. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the Genesis Telegram and go look for that first trade.
Absolutely. Great job, guys. Tom, this is awesome. And I remember when Tom first showed me the Genesis algo, and I was just super impressed. And it's really cool stuff. So once we get into this stuff, we wind up using private messages in the chat, so you won't see any of the questions there, Tom, but I'll read them to you. So one question is roughly, how much does it cost to get into some of these trades? And I know it varies quite a bit. If you can kind of give people a range.
Yeah, typically I will go with about around $1, which is $100 per option. I will go up maybe to $3 if it's depending on the movement we've had and how we get there. But the nice thing about it, the market waits on no one. You know the action time, what you're looking for, and it's sort of a process that I put together that allows you to automatically have that process without 30 or 40 years experience. To pick, to make it here, there was a lot of ones that got thrown out to get to these key tickers.
Absolutely. And I think one of the cool things, and actually somebody mentioned this in the chat, didn't have a chance to I didn't want to interrupt you to read it or whatever, but somebody said Tom doesn't just make you money with his good trades, but one of the best things he does is keeps you out of the bad ones. And I think that's, that speaks miles toward kind of the, what you have as far as discipline and discretion and stuff like that, and what your experience brings to the table as far as, not just taking a trade to take a trade.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can screw up a good trade,
right?
But I find most of the ways to do that is either a click error or something stupid or emotions getting in the way. With this process, and you focus on this time frame and you say, hey, I'm going to make those trades that set up that I'm comfortable with, you will see a big improvement in what you've done in the past if you do that one step. One step, the time, it's time to go, and it tells you this ticker's ready.
Now, do they have to do this right at like 12:01?
It usually lasts, there's three signals that come off, 12:05 is the first one, then there's another one at 12:35 and the final one at 1.
So how do you recommend, you recommend that they start watching it at 12:05 and then, keep looking at it and take those individual signals, or wait till they have all three? How do they go about actually implementing?
No, I think all of them stand on their own. I'm just saying that I would look at it and then I would plug it in and say, hey, this is one I'm taking. Okay. And it's not hard to figure it out after a while, because you're going to find out, it's a lot of these trades, the SPY was hot for 3 days in a row, both going up and going down. And, these tickers tend to pay big once they start paying. A lot of times they just circle around their noise area. But this eliminates that for you because it's going to tee it up for you. And I use that phrase like on a golf course, right?
It definitely helps you focus in on everything amongst all the noise, right? It
right.
Just like zeroes in, targets in on that. And I know you're going to be yelling at somebody later today about this $8.97 price that we put here. Because
I'm sitting here going, $8.97?
I know that's a ridiculously low price for this.
Yeah, I thought you got to give me a break.
I know how much went into.
I thought is that for 3 months, but they're giving a year there, $8.97 for a year.
Yeah,
goodness.
Yeah. And then as we mentioned before, folks, you have then the opportunity on the second page to up that to a VIP lifetime subscription where you don't have to even worry about renewing it after a year, and that's at a greatly discounted price also. So just a great opportunity to get in on this and see what it's all about. Now, of course, some of the questions that we've answered so far are also covered in much more depth in the training that's available in the members area that Tom has recorded for you. So you don't have to worry about, kind of grasping all of this right here and now from the little bit that we've kind of touched on during the presentation.
But they ought to get in now where they can go see the first Genesis. It takes you about 5 minutes to get set up. and then you can watch it develop today at what, in 15 minutes from 12 to 1.
Yeah.
And then, I'm holding a live webinar at 1. They can come and attend and ask me about it,
Perfect. So if you get in now on it, you'll be on the list to get the link for the live session at 1 o'clock as well. So, great timing, just happens to be with opening playbook that we run right up until when Genesis takes effect. And that's something you can count on every day too, right? As soon as opening playbook's over, you can go right over to Genesis and start looking at it because the timing will be that way on a daily basis. So it's a good marriage here of opening playbook and Genesis. Well, those are all the questions that we had in the chat. I'll take a quick look and see if I missed anything else. Let's see. There's a question here. The masterclass mentions dollar strikes, but the cheat sheet mentions $3 strikes. Which way should they be going on that?
Like I said, $1 to $3 works. And again, it's your choice, but I like the $3 personally, okay?
Perfect. All right, Larry asked about the VIP price. So it's in the chat and in the announcements, Larry. It's an additional, on top of the $897 for the 1 year, it's an additional $1,400 or $1,397 for the VIP upgrade. So all in, it's just under $2,300 for VIP, which is half the price roughly of a year normally. You can see on the screen $4,300 normally for a year, and you're going to get in all in on VIP for $2,294. So tremendous discount on both the 1 year and the VIP today. Let's see. I think those are all the questions that we have. And if anybody else has anything else, this is the time to throw it out here in the chat while Tom's still with us. I want to thank you for joining us on Opening Playbook and spending so much time with us today, Tom.
Yeah, and like I said, since it's this time of day, I moved my normal train and trade, which is 11 to 1, so you can come join us there if you want to and listen to what we're going to do. We sort of say, hey, let me pay you to show up. So, in other words, I have to pay people. Graham and them are so good, but I pay people every day with good trades. And so yesterday we had a great one in the we went long, and I guess it paid off because if you look at the market right now, no guess about it. So come.
Oh, yeah, open green, stayed green, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, but thank you, and thank everybody for helping present Genesis. And I think you're getting a heck of a deal here at $897. In the market, will not wait on you. And the next time you have a trade out there and you lose money, I want you to think, man, maybe I should have gotten Genesis. Put the curse of Genesis on you, right? Show up. So,
all right, we're going to do a new promo.
Hey, everybody,
called
welcome
Don't
to
Get Hit by the Curse of Genesis.
That's right. All right, thanks, Dave.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
All right, bye. All right, folks, that is all.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
We'll be reporting earnings tomorrow morning around the